Gather round and let me tell you a story of realms long forgotten. There are tales of the Forest Kingdom, a place of honour and chivalry, known to some as the Land of the Purple Dragon, but known to all as Cormyr.
Hi, I'm Tilda, and I'm playing Hiram, a half-orc paladin.
Hi, my name's Carl. I'm playing Cassie Donahue, a human bard.
Hi, my name is Anton, and I play Balthazar, a Warforged Cloak of Azuth.
Hi, my name is Al, and I'm playing Slate, a changeling druid.
Hi, I'm Matt, and I'm playing Zombo, who is a halfling rogue/warlock.
And my name is Dan. I shall be the dungeon master on this adventure. Hello everybody, how are you doing?
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
why?
Hi, Dan. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you. None of that on a Monday evening, thank you.
Well,
Just
you know,
soon.
you all looked a bit sleepy and dozy, so I thought I'd rectify that, and I feel like I've succeeded. Hello. How are you all doing?
Very good.
More
Looking
awake
forward.
now than I was a second ago.
Yeah.
Good.
Looking forward to the special one-shot we're having, I guess. It's
Yeah.
kind of like one-shot.
It's a half shot.
Okay.
So,
It's like a special shot.
absolutely. So, it's just the five of us this week. So, whilst the Warhounds, who have rendezvoused with their old guild member Magnus and his trio of companions, and they've kind of swanned off to the docks. We will this week we will follow the adventures of the Diversion Division, as I've dubbed them. So yes, this week we will be playing as Magnus, Aaron, Axicas, and Helenus. So just real quick, left to right. Matt, who are you playing, and what does she sort of do?
I'm playing Helenus. She's a bard. I guess she's a support character, so she can heal, she can inspire her friends. Got a few other nifty abilities, and if all that fails, she can shoot somebody with a bow.
Beautiful. So next along, Tilda, give us a quick rundown on Axicas.
So I'm playing Axicas, a tiefling Ebon Thaumaturge, which means I am basically a wizard who gets to do extra damage if I want to.
Explosions!
So many explosions.
Okay.
Mordaka.
Mordaka, yes. So, next along the line, who's this stranger, Anton?
I am playing Magnus, the much beloved wizard. He is playing as an arcane tactician.
Okay. And last but not least, who's this heartthrob on the end, Carl?
This is Aaron Fox, Hippogriff Rider Extraordinaire.
Ooh, very, very tasty. Yes, off the back of last session, the Warhounds were making their escape through the secret tunnels, under the secret smuggling tunnels under Suzail, and these four in the basement of the Six Candles have agreed to buy the Warhounds as much time as they can, and one of the best ways to do that is with a diversion. So,
with the B team is really what's going on.
yes, yeah. I mean, I would say more like E team, but sure.
Yeah, because the war dogs are the B teamers, so we're like C at least.
I mean,
Oh,
what are
God.
we? Some kind of suicide squad?
Oh, goodness. Oh, good. That's a copyright strike right there.
No,
Yeah.
it's fine. It's all fair use.
So, with that out of the way, who's ready to jump in?
Hey.
Me.
Let's do it.
Go.
Beautiful. Magnus Cobbleson, Helenus Fish, Aaron Fox, Axicas Sablegift, 4 unlikely companions in an unlikely situation, bound together by a common connection to the Warhounds. In the aftermath of the Civil War, these 4, once wary of their fellow countrymen and women for owing their allegiance to another crown, now find themselves wary of their neighbour in case they owe allegiance to the Mistress of Night, Shah. Having met with the Warhounds and with a plan concocted for Cormyr's heroes to infiltrate the mysterious war wizard vessel off the coast of Suzail, Magnus has initiated a scheme to create a distraction to provide his former guildmates some cover, and with the help of his former mentor within the war wizards, Robert Devasco, as well as some other unusual allies. These 4 will buy the Warhounds some time, but first, they need to save the innocent civilians upstairs in the 6 Candles from a heavy-handed war wizard.
Do we need to save them?
So, listen, everyone. Shall we make this a little bit interesting? Last one to die gets to skip the queue to talk to Kalamov first. What say you all?
Is that in character, out of character?
Yes.
Character.
I don't know where we are yet. Hold
So,
on. We're in the basement.
Because I've been thinking about that line for days.
I hate to say, doesn't sound like something he would say.
He's meant to be a cool cat.
He is not a cool cat. He's not a cool cat.
I'm trying to play him cool and like he knows he's not gonna die, but he just wants to make light of the situation. He was leaning against the wall.
I'll have you know that Aaron quit first. Right, so there are sounds of a scuffle upstairs above your heads in the 6 Candles. You yourselves are kind of been hidden away in the basements, which leads to the smuggling routes, which crisscross underneath the streets of Suzail. You've heard Magnus, what you assume to be a roving, inquisitorial war wizard band, and you've heard the screams of the barmaid upstairs. As the wall of stone, which was conjured by Slate, is dispelled, and light pours in from the 6 Candles upstairs, if I could please have you all roll initiative.
Initiative. Let's go. What did I get?
I got a 12.
Very average start.
Oh wow! So
Magnus.
that's 10.
So Magnus, in true fashion,
Got a 1.
rolls 1. Okay, so first things first. Aaron, you hear the sounds of distress coming from upstairs. What do you do?
Well, we can't allow that to stand, can we? So Aaron is going to head up the stairs.
Okay. So as you head up the stairs, in front of you, you find a number of, you see 3 purple dragons who have appear to be kind of cordoning off the various patrons of the bar that you know to be here. You also notice that in amongst them, in the middle of this tavern, this inn, is a war wizard wearing a slightly newer form of regalia, and as you peer at this individual, you recognize the individual to be one of the newly instated war wizard inquisitors.
Oh, look at his nails.
So this kind of bald man whose face has kind of blue tattooed lines drawn across them looks up at you from his high collar. A sword in one hand and his casting hand clutched around the forehead of the barmaid, and he looks up to you as you storm up the stairs, and with a quick glance around the room, he shouts, "Don't just stand there! Get him!" So, Carl, as you arrive at the top of the stairs, what do you do, Aaron?
Could I ask, what is Is there anything above the Inquisitor? Is there, for instance, in the 4 space he's standing, maybe a small chandelier?
Let's say there is.
Fantastic. Ara's going to step into the room, and with a quick hop, skip, and a jump, he's going to send his spear into the connection of the chandelier.
So before you do that, let me just quickly. Cool. Aaron actually. So Aaron's spear is actually a custom designed hippogriff rider spear. He does come equipped with javelins, however.
Then I will happily send a javelin towards it.
Okay.
Nice.
Roll 20, don't let me down. 11 versus the chandelier.
Okay. I think an 11 isn't gonna hit, unfortunately. But yeah, you throw the javelin. It soars overhead. It's enough. It's enough to make the Inquisitor duck and release the barmaid, and she kind of tumbles to the floor, clutching her head. And you see the Inquisitor's eyes kind of focus on you in a snarl.
Well, that's not a bloody good start. This point, he pulls his javelin out, locks it into place, and is like, I guess we'll have to do this the more old-fashioned way.
Okay. So after you, then the Inquisitor looks to you and like he snarls, and he, with his open hand now free, he thrusts his hand out towards you. You see the magic kind of leave his fingertips as his fingernails, his painted blue fingernails, glow ever so slightly. And Aaron, can I have a wisdom save, please?
14.
Oh, unfortunately. So as the Inquisitor looks up, his eyes blaze, and Aaron, you feel your limbs freeze up. So let's do.
This is definitely not going how I planned.
Okay, let's just do that one for now. Cool. The Inquisitor looks round and, what are you waiting for? Get it! Get him! He shouts. You hear all of this downstairs, Helenus. What do you do?
Yeah. So the doorway here that the Warhounds, we've seen them escape through the tunnel.
Yes.
What was blocking the tunnel? Was it like a false wardrobe or something?
It was it was just a false wall on a hinge that had a big crate that the young bard girl Katya levitated out of the way with her mind. But you're able to swing the door closed if you want.
Okay. Yeah, I'll close that.
Cool.
And then I'll die and hearing the cows upstairs, I'll die and go. Then Taxcat, I suppose we'd better help him, my dear. He'll only get into trouble without us. And sort of squeeze her shoulders as she walks past, drawing her bow.
Okay. Okay, so as you head up the stairs, you can see the same sights as Aaron. So to your right, behind a table, are two of the patrons and the barmaid, the serving maid. To your left, through a doorway, you see a purple dragon blade, kind of with his sword out, keeping some patrons kind of trapped in that room. Across from you, you see an Inquisitor, so this purple-robed individual, thin, bald head, has a distinctly hawkish kind of look to him, but with this more kind of ornate mantle over his shoulders.
Okay. So I'm just getting to grip with all my different abilities.
Sorry, Dan.
Yes.
I don't think my proficiency got added to the javelin. Sorry, my dex got added to the javelin.
It's because you're not proficient with them.
Yeah.
But my proficiency's on there. That's what the +4 is. But I don't think I haven't got my +2 for my dex, so should I have got that?
Yeah, Aaron skip training.
Obviously, I don't want to backtrack and sort of say it suddenly hits if it does. We can just say that one missed. But should I be getting my dex on that?
So you're not proficient. It's not. So you're now proficient. We'll have to say
strength.
We'll have to say.
Yeah. We'll just keep saying that one missed. But I just wanted to like for the future.
Is Javelin Lock strength based?
Maybe, but he's got a really good strength.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Hang on. Yeah, because you roll +4, but you're not proficient, so it should be +8.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's better. Okay. Yeah. So we'll say that one missed, but yeah, okay.
Yeah,
now
that's fine.
it's pulling your proficiency through.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cool. Ellis.
Okay, yeah. So she's going to pull an arrow from her quiver, knock it, and then whisper something to the arrow, and vines will start to grow around it. And then she'll loose it towards the purple dragon stood in the doorway.
Okay.
So that is an ensnaring strike.
Yeah.
That's my bonus action to cast that. And then she'll use her action to fire the shot. 22.
That is a hit.
Lovely. Okay.
Nice.
So 16 damage.
Okay, so as Helenas, as you knock this arrow, it begins to glow as you pull the string back, and it almost becomes a beam of light which arcs out, hits the purple dragon for 16. He then takes a strength save and fails.
Yeah.
Nice. So he's restrained.
Okay.
And you're not concentrating on the spell.
Yeah, I am indeed. And he'll take the start of his turn. He'll take 2 piercing damage.
Cool. Okay. So he's restrained. So vines will sort of like, or effectively bindings of light, kind of wrap around this purple dragon. They pull his arms in, and he slams to the ground like a freshly wrapped sausage.
Yeah. She'll just finish her movement there, so she's not blocking the stairs.
Cool. Okay, so next up, Axicas. You've heard the telltale thwip of Helenas' bow shot.
I am going to follow everyone to the top of the stairs. Actually, I'm going to be standing over here. And is it obvious that Aaron is being held against his will?
Yeah, you know that he's particularly light on his feet, but right now this purple dragon knight is kind of on his tiptoes, and you can see his joints kind of. It looks like he's struggling against his joints almost.
War wizard, sweetie, war wizard.
Oh, cool. Let me just do some measuring here. Oh, that's lovely. Okay, so Axicas is going to look at Aaron like, such trouble you get into in so quickly. And I am going to cast Ray of Frost on the wizard.
Yeah. Okay, so as you
18.
fire this Ray of Frost across the room, the Inquisitor hisses, throws up a shield, and deflects your Ray of Frost.
Well, I'm very glad I didn't waste a spell slot for that.
But as you cast the Ray of Frost, and sort of like the magic lingers in the air, some of it is drawn back to you, and underneath your feet, a circular ley line springs into being.
Indeed.
Anything else, Axicas?
No, but question, because he cast another spell, I don't suppose that breaks his concentration?
It doesn't, only if he casts another concentration spell.
Oh well.
In which case, Magnus!
Magnus is currently staring at the wall, away from the door, So it looks like we're stuck. It's going to take a very long time for this stone wall to disappear. Listen, I don't know how long we'll be here. Hello? Oh dear. And he's going to run up the stairs.
Oh, I've missed
Oh,
Magnus.
I miss Magnus.
There we go.
The
I
Magnus,
see.
the dumbest intelligence 18 wizard.
low wisdom? It's not even true. 13 wisdom. I don't know.
I mean, wasn't he also the last one to realize that Slate was a changeling?
It probably yes.
Okay, so Magnus, as you follow up your companions, you can see a bit of a ruckus. Aaron has been frozen in spot. You immediately kind of get the idea that it's the Inquisitor across the room that is currently holding him.
Yeah.
Everyone else is glowing. What do you do?
I'm gonna cast slow.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is a spell I have never used before in the cast. And then I can place the template. 40 foot. Oh, this isn't. I don't think you've. It's 40 foot by 40 foot. I don't think the template's going to work. It's too big, right?
No, that's a 40-foot cube.
Is that?
Yeah.
I'm thinking 20 foot. Okay, sorry, I'm not placing it there then. I can catch everyone, right?
Yeah.
I
Maybe.
think so. So I didn't place it. Should I replace it? Can you delete it?
Hang on.
That didn't
So
work.
you can, if you're trying to catch the purple dragons, there's one. So the one, if you're not worried about the guy trapped by Hellenis's magic in the doorway, you can cast it. Kind of.
Got too many templates now.
Too many templates. So you can cast it like here, and you'll catch both purple, the blade at the back of the room, the tail sword nearer you, the Inquisitor, and like all of the patrons.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
I mean, I won't be. I'll just be targeting the purple dragons.
Sure. Okay, so in which case, the blade at the back of the room
Fail.
fails.
15.
The tail sword closer to you
Fail.
and the war wizard.
Come on. Come on. Yes.
Hey!
Woo.
3 fails. Okay, so as you go to cast it, Magnus, you see the distinctive like look on the face of this war wizard, and you know that the war wizard's going to try to use his arcane deflection, much like you have at many times in the past. But it's too slow off the draw.
Then.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you can have double reaction, maybe.
Very good. No, fair enough. I mean, well, he goes to use it, and that's why he failed, right? That's why it didn't work. So, what happens? So they're all slow, -2, lots of stuff. Cool.
Many things happen. I will let you know when things happen.
There is a as the world in this square of the tavern slows to a crawl. Anything else, Magnus?
That will be my turn. Yeah.
Okay, cool. At the top, this purple blade on the ground kind of struggles against his binds and takes 2 damage from the binds. Can he roll to break 3?
Yeah, as an action. So another strength save, I think.
Okay, in which case he wiggles and thrashes, and the binds close tighter around him. The other one at the back of the room, who's not, due to the weirdness of time dilation, he looks up to you and low crowd. Boom. Boom. As he slowly ponders across. He draws a sword in slow motion. And takes a ready position next to the Inquisitor. The tail sword also. They've got a wizard. Dumb. Oh, and this tail sword begins running towards you, like swinging the sword up. You wonder if perhaps they think they're going normal speed. but they're not. Aaron!
Come on, wisdom. No.
You can see the world's slowest tail sword running towards you in slow motion.
Can we deal with the war wizard, please? I don't like how this guy is very, very slowly approaching me.
Okay, so actually, sorry, beg my pardon. The tail sword gets to make another wisdom save. At the end of each of its turns, yes. So the tail sword is still going slowly. The blade at the back has passed. So the blade next to the Inquisitor is back to normal. The one on the floor is still sluggish. The War Wizard Inquisitor looks up and, like, in slow motion, he lifts his head up and you see him bare his teeth in slow motion. He will. So does he have to? He's only got a 50-50 chance of casting a spell, eh?
Something like that. Let's read what it says. Yeah. Yep, that's right.
That because of slow.
The Inquisitor kind of looks up to you, and you see his hands kind of moving into a spell casting position, and it's actually kind of odd to watch someone cast in slow motion, but he attempts to dispel magic. But the spells, you see the magic kind of flicker to his hands, and you see him. I was working it that he needed 11 plus to cast, so
on 11 plus, it takes they cast it, but it takes an extra turn.
Yeah, I was reading around the wrong way, but it's going to cast next turn. In which case, so yeah, you see the magic kind of crackle around his fingers, and you can see the spell kind of forming in between his hands. But yeah, it looks like he's going to try and dispel the slow effect next turn. He then kind of steps back ever so slowly. Elenis, you feel like you're underwater.
Okay. Oh, am I slowed as well? Am I?
No, sorry. No, it looks like everyone's underwater, I should say.
Okay.
The Inquisitor can make a save versus slow.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, so he's back up and running. Okay.
Yeah.
Helenis, what do you do?
Okay, so I think seeing this purple dragon running at Aaron and Aaron not moving out of the way, she'd kind of shake his shoulder and, do you think you ought to do something, Aaron? Come on, snap out of it.
Look at me! I'm clearly held by a spell.
And that will count as a bardic inspiration, I think.
Thank you.
Okay.
So you can use that on your next wisdom save. And you can also, if you prefer, Helenis's bardic inspirations, you can use. Hang on, let me find it. You can use them in all the normal ways, or you can get temporary hit points.
So is this the Troubadour?
Yeah, Troubadour's pain. Yeah, so a creature that has a bardic inspiration die can roll that die to gain temporary hit points equal to the result when an attack or spell targets the creature. And while those temporary hit points are protecting you, you gain advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws.
Dope.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
That's my bonus action, and then seeing Aaron, she's going to assume that he's going to respond to that, and she'll knock another arrow and fire over his shoulder at probably at the Inquisitor, to be honest.
Okay.
So let's give that a go. 11.
11. Okay, so as you fire the second bow shot, but the Inquisitor kind of ducks out the way, and the bow hits the wall at the far end of the tavern.
Okay, that's me.
Okay, Axicas.
So, just to sum up, the wizard is now free to move normally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
So he's just kind of gone. "Kuh!" He finishes the word that he was saying in slow motion. But yeah, he's now moving normal speed.
Okay, in that case, Axika said like, "Oh, I think you're trying to do this," and she is going to cast Dispel Magic on Aaron.
Hey.
Sweet.
Okay. So, Aaron, you just kind of drop to your feet properly and slouch a bit, and like I can only imagine it feels like the aftermath, like when it's pins and needles. You just have pins and needles throughout your body as you try to shake off the whole person. But yeah, you are now free. And Axcas, are you doing anything else, or are you staying in your ley lines?
Staying in my ley lines.
Okay, the ley lines power up a bit more around you. Magnus.
I shall do a firebolt at the Inquisitor, please.
Yeah.
Let's go. Normal. 25 to hit.
Wham! So that smacks straight into the Inquisitor. He doesn't try to stop it. That's 12 damage.
12 fire damage. Yeah.
Cool. And was there anything else? Did you want to use one of your famous tactics?
There might be one of the moves to start. You can get extra movement. I don't think we need that. It's also the same. And a bonus action, someone can strike. I want to wait until Aaron. Does Aaron have a polearm?
It's
Yes.
a spear.
Aaron,
It's
use your spear.
It's a 5-foot spear, though.
What? No, a 10-foot spear. All right, it's not going to work then.
Pike's
That is
10
the end of my turn.
Okay. In which case, the blades, so the one on the floor, Matt, if you could roll me another d6 for damage, and I will struggle against your binds. DC 16. Boop. Okay, so you hear him kind of growl, and he eventually kind of twists hard enough that the bindings of light kind of fade, and he pulls himself free, and he gets up, and he just he shouts as he staggers out of the doorway and draws his sword. The other one walks forward and takes up a defensive position. He doges. Next up, the tail sword.
Is the symbol for slow a turtle?
It is a turtle.
Oh.
So as the slowed tail sword runs at you, Aaron.
Can make one attack. Biscuit. No multi-attack.
Oh, brilliant. In which case you see this sword. Ooh.
No, it's
And as
parry.
he rolls a 10, you parry it and just gently step backwards. The
Actually,
tail
just as we're getting just. Ping.
and at the end of his turn, he's still slowed. Aaron, what do you do?
I think what Aaron's going to do is he's going to take his spear, swing low, and attempt to knock the tail sword off his feet.
Okay.
Which I do is just a normal attack for that, don't I? And
Yes.
No damage,
Yes.
but pro. Okay.
That's it. And you only need you get basically +2 to this because he's slowed.
Fantastic. And swing, batter, swing.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay.
27.
So as this tail sword, it's not it's not overly difficult to make contact with the right part of this guy's leg, but there's a gong, and then you kind of swing it out, and the guy flips up in slow motion somehow, and crashes to the ground in front of you.
He looks over his shoulder at Helen as he's like, I just didn't feel as fun for some reason.
That guy out. He's just getting flattened.
Yeah, pretty much. The Inquisitor at the back hisses and sort of like seeing you lot storming up, backs out and leaves.
Coward.
Bursts out of the inn. Magnus, if this wall is left unattended, he may well call for reinforcements.
Gotcha.
Helenus.
Yeah. She's gonna mutter a quick prayer, perhaps to the gods of the forest or something like that. And a Guardian of Faith is going to appear.
Ooh. All the big guns.
I think probably there. It's in an unoccupied space, so yeah, just there.
Sure. Let me grab one of those for you.
I don't think it does anything for now. I think it does stuff on their turns. However, I'll use because I've just cast a spell. I'll use my Scars of History ability.
Okay.
I'll expend one of my Bardic Inspiration die, and the next time this Telsword here does damage, I can reduce it.
Okay, very nice. And what does the Guardian of Faith do? So any creature hostile to you that moves within 10 feet must succeed on a save or take radiant damage. Okay. So there is a big glowing humanoid figure floating in the middle of the tavern, and there's like all the commoners scream and kind of fall to the floor. The purple dragons kind of back away. What is it? They shout. Anything else, Hellenis?
Well, so does Scars of History use my bonus action? Because it would cost a bonus action to use a Bardic Inspiration normally, but it doesn't specify that on here. So your call, I guess.
No, it's a tack on, so you can just use your Bardic Inspiration when you cast Guardian of Faith.
Okay, lovely. I don't know what to do with my bonus action then. Fine. I guess I could use another dice. I kind of feel like I want to save them a little bit. I might just call it there. I'll start shimmying round, I think, to help Magnus chase. Chase the Inquisitor.
Okay.
And I'll call my turn there.
Okay. Axas. What do you do?
So, question for you.
Answer for you.
The Guardian of Faith that
Yes.
Hen just summoned, is it literally that buff guy? That you put in there?
Hellenis? Is it a buff guy, a buff lady, a buff something else?
She's kind of a woman of the woods, isn't she? So I'm thinking her Guardian of Faith would be more naturey, really.
Yeah, buff plant.
Yeah, buff plant, buff tree, yeah.
It's a tree with, instead of like branch out the side, it's just got two guns.
Yeah.
It's a Jack Treant.
If Treebeard hit the gym, it looks like that.
Sure. Sounds good. And it's glowing.
Yeah, sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's effectively this buff tree with a gleaming sword and shield, emblazoned with a symbol of Hellenis' deity, which is probably the buff tree. So,
Dear Lord. Okay. So I would assume that Axigas was actually reading a fireball. That the tree appeared, and she's like, maybe not.
okay, yeah. Maybe later.
And what should we? The thing is, most of the things I have are sort of fire related, and we're in a building.
I mean, that's fine. The buildings in Suzail are specifically canonically built from stone to stop the spread of fires.
Yeah, she's going to
you got to
look
ask yourself: is WWK or WWKD? What would Catchy do?
Yeah, I mean that only set fire to one building.
Well,
Exactly. Yeah.
okay. So, I think she's going to first shout out to the civilians, like, people and the soldiers, please go to one corner of the building.
Yeah.
Then she is going to, as a bonus action, cast Misty Step
Nice.
to move 30 feet ahead. To here.
Yeah.
She is going to cast Shocking Grasp
Okay.
on
So
this
bear in-
soldier.
Yeah, bear in mind the ley lines have disappeared.
I know.
That's good. Yeah.
Kinda need to move though.
So shocking grasp, I believe you get advantage.
I do. 23.
That is a hit.
Excellent. So that's 13 damage. The lightning damage specifically, and it can't take reactions on the start of its next turn, which means Axicat is basically going to touch its shoulder like, excuse me, and shock it, and then walk past.
Okay. So yeah, the purple dragon. Wait, what? as you wander past.
I will get exactly here, and to where I can see the war wizard.
Okay. So yes, as you kind of step round the corner, you see the war wizard kind of like backing away from the tavern warily. Anything else, Axcast? I believe that's it.
That's all I have.
Okay. As per your instructions, all of the noticing that the purple dragons are kind of occupied, all of the patrons kind of make a dash for the far corner. The barmaid goes diving over the bar, as does the serving girl. And everyone just run. And then these two back off into the corner outside. Cool. So all the commoners are now out of the way. Magnus.
Sure. What am I doing? I'm trying to measure 30. What am I? That's not right. What do I measure? There we go. 30. So I can go here. So let's do that. Oh, I'm blocking vision. And I can't Misty Step. Can I try and Misty Step where the wizard was? Can't really see though.
Well,
Yeah,
so you can see through this window here, just to the south of you. You can see,
Okay.
obviously the doorway Axcast is in.
Can I use my movement plus 30 feet to get right next to the wizard?
Sure. Okay, so you appear in front of the Inquisitor. What do you do?
I try and hit him with my sword.
Okay.
I shall do it.
Oh!
Magnus
definitely
remembers how to use a sword, strangely enough.
Okay, so as you critically hit that Inquisitor, you do 9 damage. Shunk!
That doesn't... That's not adding strength, is it? Oh, I only have 1 strength. Okay, that is correct.
Anything else, Magnus?
That is my turn.
Okay, at the top of round, the purple blades, sort of like seeing the giant glowing figure floating above the table in the middle of the room. One of them goes to sort of like lunge at it, and you watch as this tree just turns to look at the purple dragon, lifts a branch, flexes, and the purple dragon explodes in kind of bright light and is fired back into the room as he takes 20 damage and is knocked unconscious. As he slams to the ground. The other at the same time.
Did he get a dex save?
Oh, is it a dex save?
Yeah.
Let's hope he fails because I've already done it. Yeah, he fails.
Okay.
So the other one runs towards him, sort of like shouting, and also fails. So is blown back and takes 20 damage. Cool. The purple dragon, having taken the damage, then falters for a moment and returns to his defensive position. The tail sword, at the end of his turn, stands up. That uses all of his movement, and he looks to you, Aaron, and shouts, and hits you for 22 to hit.
That is a hit. Can I use the Bardic to...
I was going to reduce its damage by the Scars of History thing.
Okay.
If you want.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll do it that way then.
Sure. In which case he slashes you for 10.
Okay, so he needs to make a charisma save, I think.
Okie dokie. So charisma save. He rolls a
Okay.
14, so he fails.
Yeah, so reduce the damage by D10 plus 4.
Okay, so if you roll the d10. So he Helenus, as you sing your song of the war past, like guilt and hesitation fills this tellsword, and like the sword hand wavers, and as it hits your armor, Aaron, the wrist just kind of goes limp, so he effectively just kind of drags this blade across your front and doesn't actually do any damage.
Yeah, he'll need to make a dex save as well because he's moved by standing up, technically. So the tree's going to stand on him.
He rolls a 19 because
He
he's
takes
slow.
just 10 damage then.
Just 10. Okay. And off the back of that, at the end of his turn, he will make one final. I hope. I see. Actually, it's almost more fun, but he's slow. Yeah, he's still slow. Okay, so he just loses the conviction halfway through the strike. It's just because he's going in slow motion. That takes about three hours to set in. Aaron, what do you do?
Aaron looks at him and says, "Shouldn't I laugh about the morning? The sound of the church bells!" And turns the spear around and clongs it straight against the helmet of the guard. Don't let me down, dice. Don't let me down. 13, but I do have a bardic inspiration, which is D8, isn't it, or D10 at this point?
D10 at this point.
So 1D10, not D18. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
That is a hit.
Fantastic. Nice. And he rings his bell for 11 damage.
Okay, there's a from inside the from inside the helmet as you clonk him for 11. Anything else, Aaron? Did you want to?
He can't take reactions, can he?
I don't believe so.
So Aaron's just going to. I'm going to leave him with a tree.
Come back here.
And he just moves up to the other guy and starts pointing the spear. You and me, buddy.
Okay. The War Wizard Inquisitor outside. Magnus, he staggers away from you a few steps, and then you see him just sort of look to you, and he puts his fingers to his forehead and like he flings.
Yeah.
He goes to fling ascending.
I shall counterspell, please.
Oh.
I haven't used my reaction, right? No, haven't. Let's go! Tune cast. Let's go. Yeah. Normal. What am I rolling?
So DC of 13. So DC of 13. So
oh,
you manage
right.
to snatch the spell out of the air, and
I forgot
stops.
You've put the DCs for all counterspells.
So you snatch the sending out the sky, and the War Wizard, the Inquisitor, looks at you and he looks to you and foul night worshipper, he says as he kind of drops down, draws his sword and prepares.
No talking to anybody.
Helenus.
Yeah, she's gonna run to there, and I guess see what she can see. Don't think I can see the Inquisitor from there, so I'm gonna have to. I guess I'm gonna have to dash. 5, 10. So I'll kind of gently move Axcast out of the way.
Yeah.
Dean.
A few gentle words of affirmation as you pass.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your hair looks nice tonight. Thank you.
Yeah. I'll probably just go there.
Yeah, so you burst out the 6 candles, and yeah, you can see Magnus and this Inquisitor tussling. You come out just in time to see, the wizard go to cast a spell, and then Magnus just shuts it down. But yeah, you take up residence behind this pillar.
Yeah, I'll say, Magnus, shut him down quickly.
Right, I'm doing what I can.
Bardic inspiration for you.
Bardic inspiration for Magnus. Okay.
And that will be my turn.
Okay. Axicas.
Axicas is going to step aside properly. Look. And I think the best thing I can do at the moment is to try to Ray of Frost him, so to just slow him down.
Sure. Sounds good.
Okay. It's 22.
That is a hit, and the Inquisitor is preoccupied enough that he doesn't see it coming.
So that's 13 cold damage, and his speed is reduced by 10 feet until the start of my next turn.
Perfect. Okay, no worries. So yeah, you see an opening. You study Magnus for a moment. You see an opening, and you throw in this ray of frost, and it goes under Magnus's arm and strikes the Inquisitor, who kind of yelps with pain. Anything else, Axicas?
No, but because it was evocation, I assume the ley lines are back.
Yeah, the glowing around your feet.
Excellent.
The commoners. Ah! Magnus, what do you do?
I am going to order Hellenist to strike as my bonus action.
Alright.
Oh,
So you need to make an attack or cast a spell, Magnus. You both get.
I'll make a longsword attack.
Sure.
And Hellenist also gets an attack. I miss.
Okay, so as you swing your sword, which is obviously a distracting feint,
Haha!
Hellenist. Yeah, you get to make a free attack.
Okay, she'll quickly ping off an arrow then.
Unfortunately, a 13. Just the arrow just skims past the war wizard as it ducks out the way.
Okay.
And Magnus, rest of your turn.
That is my turn.
Okie dokie. The purple dragon blade. He's unconscious. The other one is going to. He's going to make a quick intelligence save. A intelligence check. Okay, so the other blade that's inside the tavern stays perfectly still because he's figured out what's up.
Okay.
The tail sword, come back here, and he kind of goes to chase. So have I got to make a charisma save, dex save?
Dex save against the Guardian. Oh, nailed it.
Oh! So he takes the final 10 damage.
Yeah, and then the Guardian disappears.
Okay. The tail sword looks kind of surprised as this angelic tree explodes, but then he runs up behind you, Aaron, and goes to wrap his arms around you. So can I have, if you roll me an acrobatics or athletics check, please?
Athletics.
Okay. So you feel these arms slowly kind of wrapping around you, but they're slow enough that you manage to just kind of slip out of the grasp of this tail sword. The tail sword's reactions means that he gives himself a small hug before he can react, and he will. This poor guy. Is it a wisdom, a charisma save on the slow?
Wisdom, isn't it?
Wisdom.
Wow.
This guy is going to live twice as long as everyone else in his life because he's never going to pass this slow save. He's not prone anymore. This is his life now. Right.
Do you think he's just acting like he's slow so we would leave him alone?
Yeah, maybe. Aaron, you are currently being accosted by a very slow tail sword, and there's a blade who's just kind of, just like his shoulders have dropped because the angelic tree's just dissipated.
So he's gonna firstly just step out the way of the hug, like,
Yeah.
thank you, but No, thank you. And what he's going to do is step here and then skip off the logs to grab his javelin from the ceiling, and then just swing out down to there. So I assume he'll attack of opportunity?
He might. Yeah, why not? He swings, takes a swing for you, but he's too late.
Lovely to be working with you, but I've got to go. So that was 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And he will close the door.
Okay, yeah. So that was your move.
That was my move. And... Oh, do I want to waste the javelin? Which way does the door open? In or out?
It's a tavern, so it opens in when you're walking from the outside. Yeah.
Never the mind then.
I mean, Aaron, doesn't it feel great to step out of a building into the fresh air?
Does, yes. We shall address that later.
Okay.
He just gently closes the door. It's like, what did you do to him? He's moving very slowly. It's unnerving. That's Aaron's turn.
Okie dokie. The Inquisitor
wants to bop me on the head. Or run away.
The Inquisitor looks to you. He looks to you, Magnus, and says, "No matter what you try, reinforcements will come." And as he says that, he sort of like raises his hands above his head, and he brings his hands round him in a circular motion, and he surrounds himself in this circular bubble.
As a reaction, I would like to counter spell.
Aha.
4th level, please.
Yeah.
I would like to counterspell Tilda's counterspell.
And he will counterspell your counterspell of her counterspell.
Ah, damn it. Okay.
So that was a that'll do it.
Yep.
That'll do it.
Wow.
Okay, so yeah, he looks to you and kind of with this sneer on his face, he goes to cast a spell, and half this orb appears around him, and then Axicast with a click. Yeah, and the orb.
You did
And
not
he's
say
Forgot to say the magic word.
And like the Inquisitor just looks down and looks up to the four of you. And that was his action. So he will. He's gonna.
Yes,
he just
run.
tries to make a break for it.
So here's something I never determined. If I cast Firebolt, I have disadvantage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
I'll just bop him on the head with my longsword.
That'll do it.
19 hit. Damage is 8. 8 points of damage, please.
Okay, so you reach out and you slash the Inquisitor across the back. He kind of goes sprawling and kind of staggers a few steps, disappears off into the distance, and like rounds a corner, and he's off. So you know that he's likely going to be coming back, but at least you've got the opportunity now to begin your diversionary plan.
Okay.
So, with that, is there anything else you guys want to do in and around the Six Candles before you move on to the rendezvous with Robert?
Burn it down.
We are not burning it down. We are not
Okay, we're
Katya.
We're not burning it down.
Okay, so yes, as this Inquisitor vanishes off, and in about 3 months' time, the Tellsword will make it out of the tavern. Yes.
He's just a regular now. Slow Steve.
Yeah, they just kind of have a table and they push it along with him as he moves, so he's got something for a drink. The four of you, like you can hear this Inquisitor kind of running off, shouting, screaming, hollering to draw attention to this location. But you take the opportunity to slip round the Six Candles and begin heading north. Magnus and co, you begin heading to the designated spot, and before long, so somewhere. So, are you taking the long route round the city, or going up through the noble quarter?
Take the fast route, I think.
Through the noble quarter.
Yeah.
Quarter. Okay. So as you kind of go into the more well-maintained streets of the northwestern district of Suzail, you come off the main roads primarily. Well, you stay off the main roads primarily to avoid detection, and in the kind of back streets behind some of the manor houses, you find yourselves at like a crossroads behind some of the smaller buildings in the district, and stood in front of a small kind of roadway, fountain, grassy area, is a man in a purple war wizard's robe, one that you've all seen many, many, many times before. And this is Robert.
Robert the Vasco, who is
very
Magnus' mentor.
late when you need them.
Yes. So yeah, in front of you is a man in his kind of to look at him, he would look like he's somewhere in his kind of late 40s, darker skin. That it's clear that this man spent more time out in the sun than cloistered away, which is unusual for a war wizard. He has a hearty beard and combed back hair, both streaked with lines of white. And as he sees you coming, he shouts out, "Oh, Magnus, it's good to see you, my friend," he says.
Robert, my old friend, how are you?
I'm well, he says as kind of you approach. I'm well, considering everything that's going on right now.
Have you met my companions?
Aaron and I met when you and the Warhounds were here for the peace accords, but and these faces, I could never forget such lovely faces as these, he says, gesturing to Helenus.
Do you excuse me for interrupting, but aren't we on a time limit? No?
Of course, my apologies.
I mean, a bit, yes.
Robert looks to you, and whilst I would never question your motives, Magnus, I reached out to the allies you specified, and they have agreed to meet us behind the War Wizard College. They seemed particularly predisposed to raising hell, so it seems like you made a good choice there.
You've had to tell us who these allies are yet, Magnus. Are you saving this for one of your classic pranks?
Don't worry. They will be very, very useful. I know exactly what their capabilities are.
This better not be like when you threw my birthday party. That was a surprise I didn't enjoy.
As you Robert chuckles, and then he looks to you, and we'll have to lie slightly low. It would seem that for some reason it seems you have kicked the hornet's nest, my friend. Everyone seems to be out in force.
That's exactly what we have been doing, Robert. It's for a good cause, don't worry.
He nods. In which case, I suggest we head on, and you can hear the sounds of sort of patrols shouting and trying to coordinate themselves on a nearby street. Robert turns to you, and it's handy when your hobby is architecture. It's handy to find out all of the cheeky little nooks and crannies that the architects built into some of these older buildings in the city. There is a number of secret entrances into the college. We will use one of them, and that will help us to sneak in, right under their noses.
Perfect.
As he looks to you, he kind of gives you all an affirmative nod. As he turns, you see two cloaked figures arrive from the two exits to this area, and they are they're wearing heavy hooded coats of some sort, but you can see the purple dragon regalia underneath them. and one lady steps out to the right and says, calls out loud, "We're looking for some Sharan worshippers. We were wondering if you might have seen them, Mr. Devasco." Oh yeah, that's me, isn't it?
Yep.
And Robert sort of turns around and, no, I stopped to speak to these adventurers, but they had not seen them. No, perhaps they went the other way. And the mages take another step forward and sort of start. You can notice them watching you. And the man to the north of you calls out, "But they're not just any adventurers, are they, Mr. Devasco? Why, if I'm correct, that's the famous Magnus Cobbleson." And the two mages look to one another, and the bearded man repeats, "Are you sure you've not seen any Sharan worshippers?"
Magnus goes, "Do we look like bloody Sharan worshippers, you fools?"
Well, I mean, the rest of us don't. But you, my friend, I mean, it's always been a bit of a question of mine.
As you shout that out, as the two of you shout that out, the male mage smiles and says, "No, I suppose you don't." And he runs his hand across the front of his face, and a mask of black shadow materializes in front of their hoods. And everyone...
Robert, do they look like Sharans to you?
Everyone!
Oh,
no.
bad.
What did I get? Oh, yes, Magnus.
Wow, we are
17.
rolling so well for initiative.
It was better.
Like Magnus is perfectly symmetrical at the moment. The natty one on the first.
Yeah,
Now
we're doing right.
Oh dear.
Okay. So as the mages kind of run their hands over their faces and these masks appear under their hoods, they take a step forward and their hands, they kind of throw their hands open, and the five of you, including Robert, hear what sounds like wet, tearing, suckling sounds. And as you look around, so Aaron, just to your left, you hear the crates kind of rustle and something clonks, and from behind the crate steps what appears to be this two-legged mouth that crawls its way. It appears to be crawling its way out of the shadows.
Oh, God. It's like a mouse chicken.
And Helenus, as you look, you see another one crawling over from the side. One materializes on a balcony looking overhead. And there's scraping and scratching from a nearby market stall as a fourth clambers out. You then hear another kind of wet tearing sound from behind you. And as you notice a mist...
No. Not them.
Seemingly a
these
mist
guys.
riding in from behind you. So it's this gaunt humanoid, and kind of horrifically,
Oh, dude.
it has 5 distorted arms kind of falling off it that all end in sharp, barbed kind of spikes. It's got this slack, confused look on its face. And these two mages summon these shadow spawn. So, with that, Magnus, as these shadow spawn kind of spring into life, what do you do?
I'm gonna cast Mel's Minute Meteors.
Okay.
Let's do it at 4th level. Let's go blast. Cool. So I've got 8 meteors. I can cast 2 at a time. It's 1 action concentration. So I'm going to place a meteor, and it's going to go. And what's it going to do? It's going to hit this dude.
Okay. Concentrating.
So DC 16 dex save, and it will take fashion R 4d6.
So the wizard to the north of you makes his save.
That's a save. So I'll take half damage. There we go. So 8
damage.
8 points of damage.
So you conjure these floating meteors, like flaming ball rocks around your head, and you fling 2 of them at the mage to the north, and he kind of brings his arm up to shield himself from the damage. And
that will be the end of my turn. Oh, and the meteors are not fiery; they're sort of arcane bluish fire.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah, there you go.
And as you slam the two arcane bolts into him, as you slam them into him, you notice that the bipedal creatures kind of hiss and scream, and they fade out. They begin to go a bit translucent.
Ah. Interesting. That'll be my turn.
Okay. Aaron.
Aaron looks up at the sky and, so happy not to be indoors. And as he steps to here, he clenches his spear, and the ring on his finger starts to glow. Mm-hmm. And suddenly Aaron, with this massive explosion of dust below him, just goes flying up into the sky and almost disappears in a little ping as he casts High Jump. Which means he disappears, and at the start of my next turn, he reappears.
Okay, so you watch as Aaron, boop, vanishes into the skies.
Oh, we're actually
Team
going
Rocket
in
are blasting off again.
Oh.
Anything else, Aaron? I suppose not, because you're 80 foot in the air.
He's currently just riding into a sunbeam up into the sky, like.
Okay.
Just as the Neverwinter Choir is practicing in a yard nearby.
So the creature behind you. So the creature from behind you looks like it staggers, kind of slopes towards Helenus and Axicas, and it sees you, Axicas, and it opens its arms up and then attempts to bring them around you.
Bad. Oh,
as it tries to embrace you.
I don't like that. I think. Oh god, do I have anything? Can I do anything here? No, I can't. Can I counter spell it with a fireball?
I mean, fireball is always the best counter spell, but unfortunately not.
Okay, well, unfortunately, there's not much I can do about this.
Okay. So its arms wrap round you, and it squeezes, like it begins squeezing you, and as the barbs and spikes on the arms kind of press into your shoulders and arms and torso, and you take. So ignore some of that. You take 28 piercing damage.
Oh my.
That's an amount. That is an amount.
And
What does it mean and?
And
That's it,
you are, as this thing wraps its arms around you, you are grappled in its death hug. And it just kind of starts, Helen, as you watch as it starts kind of thrashing around. Axicas's feet have come off the ground, and her feet are flapping from side to side.
But is it a nice death hug?
Yes, the nicest death hug.
The nice
And
kind.
it took most of my health.
Yeah, easy. Robert looks around and he looks at one of the creatures, and the one closest, the one clambering out of the market stall, and he brings his wand out, he swishes it, and a number of magic missiles fly out. And bang! The creature explodes, and the giblets just kind of turn into a dark black mist and fade away.
Nice.
And he turns around and like he goes to shout, "Keep an eye out for things attacking from behind!" He shouts, and, "Oh!" as he sees this thing hugging Axicas. Speaking of Axicas, you are currently grappled. What would you like to do?
I would like to not be grappled anymore.
Yeah, that sounds good. So as an action, you can attempt to wiggle free.
I would like to do that, yes.
Oh, Matilda, you can actually Misty Step out of it.
Or that.
That way you don't have to roll.
Do it. Do it now.
Sure,
run
I
the
might as well use up all of these spells before we even get to the academy.
Yes.
So you Misty stepping away?
Yeah, I'm going to step away. Second level.
Okie dokie. Where to?
There. I'm going to be right next to Robert.
Okay. So the creature, its arms come in as you kind of. What does your Misty Step look like? Do you reckon? Just embers? You dissolve
Ooh,
into embers.
yeah.
Let's say yes.
Okay.
Nice.
So next Robert kind of as this tiefling kind of materializes from a puff of flame. Next
Some
to him.
people are just so rude.
Anything else, Axicas? That was only a bonus.
That was only a bonus action. I think after this, I question.
Yes.
I don't correct. The ley lines, they happen only with evocation spells, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so even the creation of the ley lines is just with evocation.
Afraid so.
Well, that's okay. I think what I'm going to do is cast a cantrip.
Yeah. Could do Ray of
At which
Frost.
point, yeah, I could do Ray of Frost. Let's slow this motherfucker down.
Okay, so as you stagger back, you go to fire you fire a beam of a ray of cold at this creature, and as the beam arcs towards it, you hear a snap as its spine twists, and the beam just skims past it.
But
Damn it.
but importantly,
but then, yeah, arcane lines appear around your feet.
thank you.
Sweet.
Cool. Anything else, Axicas?
Nope.
Okie dokie.
Hellenis.
Hellenis.
Yeah. So Hellenis will be frantically looking around for Axicas, trying to find out where she is, and then catching sight of her behind her, she'll back away to stand in front of Axicas and sort of shield her.
So as you go away, one of the spiked arms like flies out of you. 17 to hit.
I don't actually know what my AC is. That probably hits, right? Yes, it
16.
hits.
Okay, so this arm flies out and jabs you for 8 damage.
Okay, no worries. Hellenis is a tough lady. So, after checking that Axicas is okay, I'm going to furiously muster a prayer and my bow will start glowing. So, that's going to be a holy weapon.
Okay.
And then I'll loose off a glowing arrow at the lock.
Yep. That's a hit.
Okay, nice. So that plus 2d8 radiant damage.
Correct.
Okay, nice. Okay, so 19 total damage.
19. Okay, so yeah, Hellenis, as you kind of twirl out the way of the lost and kind of bring your bow up, the whole bow begins to glow as you release like a streak of light, which pierces right through the lost, and it howls, and the hole left behind, you can see kind of in lieu of blood and flesh and muscle, you just see this kind of black, almost this kind of black fibrous smoke that is just kind of flapping, trying to pull itself back together, but not able to.
Yeah, we're also surrounded by 30 feet of bright light and 30 feet of dim light after that. just in case that matters against shadowy creatures.
Okie dokie. Ooh! Ah!
That is so bright. I suddenly turned very yellow.
As so Helen says, you release this beam of light. The courtyard explodes into daylight. The creatures kind of shy away from it. Anything else though?
No, that's all I can do.
Okay. Seeing this, the war wizards who are concentrating. Oh, I'm so sorry. One of them conjures a mote of flame in their hand, and
which one?
the one to the north.
Which one I can't see? Yes.
No.
Conjures a fireball on top of Axicas, Robert, and Helenus.
Can Axicas
Should?
not counter spell?
That's exactly what I'm thinking. I think I might counterspell this, otherwise
Yeah.
it's going to be bad. Just a heads up.
Axicas is probably alright against fire damage, isn't she?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's tropical.
Yes, still.
Balmy.
23.
Okay, so Axicas, you hear the telltale as a fireball arcs in from behind you. You manage to snatch it out of the sky. Whilst that happens, the other
Aaron Fox is probably looking down at the huge fireball thinking, I didn't jump that ferociously, did I?
the other one
Oh.
does exactly the same.
And I'm too
Done.
far. I'm too far.
Are you too far? Oh no. Okay, so unfortunately you won't be able to catch the second one. Robert
Ah. Yes, Robert
can
is a-
though. Robert
is a wizard.
can do it.
Come on, Robbo.
That's enough.
What?
He needs a
That
13.
is- Oh wow.
Okay, so as the other fireball comes launching in from the other one, Robert. So basically, Axicas and Robert have just kind of crossed arms and counterspelled in opposite directions. And
Nice.
Helenus, you kind of have that because you can smell the sulfur in the air. And the war wizards kind of curse as they carry on concentrating on their spells. These small little creatures let out a shrill, and as they come barreling in. This one up here, so it comes running down the stairs. 10. It kind of smashes through the barrels and it's like gnashing its teeth as it goes. One of them kind of barrels into Robert and goes to bite him, but he grabs it on his arm and the mage armor holds up. The other one takes a bite, attempts to take a bite out of you, Helenus, but just goes to bite where your foot is, but your foot's gone. Top of round, Magnus.
Sweet. I'm gonna cast one of my meteors. Will go to the gap north,
Yeah.
and the other one will go on the wretched.
Okay.
So I need a dex save DC 16 for each, please.
Okay, so the wizard rolls a 12 and fails.
Okay, takes. Oh, Balthazar. Where did he come from?
Just the man we needed.
Yeah. And the wretched.
Which one? The one in front of you, yeah?
The wretched. The
The lost. Okay,
Yeah.
no worries. So the lost kind of
Yes.
wails a little bit as then bam is slammed by.
takes 5. That was a bonus action, by the way, and I will now do a firebolt.
Before you do that, the
Yeah.
wizard up top fails. And so as you slam him with a second set of meteors, there's a cry from the wretched and they become more faint.
Cool. I'm gonna shoot the lost with the firebolt.
Yeah.
Normal, 17 to hit.
Okay, so as it rocks from being struck by your kind of little blue arcane bolt, you hit it then with a follow-up firebolt.
Yeah, 7 points of damage.
Okay, and it rocks even greater. Anything else, Magnus? Any?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. I guess that's difficult terrain. I'm going on top of the boxes.
Okie dokie. So as you climb up onto the boxes, you hear as Aaron.
Yes.
Could you restore me to the back? Thank you. Yes, he reaches the top of his peak, and using an 8-year-old reference, he like in from the Second Son, he does the dip of Delsin, which is the as he then comes down to land. I think he's still 30 feet away.
Yeah.
He is indeed.
That'd have been annoying if he wasn't, wouldn't it?
Oh, it would have been horrific. So he uses a high jump.
Okay, so you all watch as Aaron descends from the sky, spear first. That is a hit. The battle mage passes his save.
Oh,
So he. Oh my
40.
god.
Oh my.
So
Oh my dear.
yeah, count that up.
52. 26 damage.
26. Okay, so at the last moment, this war wizard like steps backwards as you BAM! And you crack the flagstones under you, and this wizard panics as he takes another con save at DC 13. He fails, and in fact, your spear skewers his hand and like tears through the side of it as you land, and as he and sort of like flicks his hand out, the magic holding the wretched completely
Ooh,
disappears.
sweet.
And the lost also suffers some damage. Cool.
As a question for the way the sort of turn works with Aaron here, obviously this was my action last turn. Do I still have an action for this turn? Because the action is to jump and then it's to wait a turn before coming back down. So now do I have
I believe you still go. Yeah, you have your full set of actions.
Fantastic. So as he comes off of the jump, he then spins round with a spine shatter dive.
Okay, so as you land spear first, and like the moment your feet touch the ground, you bend your knees and you're up again. Unfortunately, that's a miss.
Okay. That is fine.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I think I've done enough.
Okay. The Lost, who's been smacked a couple of times with fire, turns to you, Magnus.
No, back, other way.
And then it begins
No.
climbing up the boxes. As it
Magnus is squealing. Going, no.
Robert Hoga, like seeing this, he
Leave me, Daddy.
So, seeing the other war wizard to the right, he kind of points his wand behind Axcas's head and fires off some magic missiles, which do some damage, and the war wizard has to take 3 saves. 1, 2, 3.
Oh dear.
Fail and a fail. Okay. So, as this wizard kind of recoils from being slammed by these magic missiles, you watch as the Lost, as it kind of clambers up in its arms, kind of slamming through the tops of the boxes to kind of give it purchase, Dr. Octopus from Spider-Man style. You notice there are holes appearing in its form as it becomes more and more translucent and patchy, and it is all nigh on translucent. Axcas, what do you do in your beautiful ley lines?
We are not really allowed to kill the war wizards, are we?
Well,
These are not war wizards.
Yeah, I don't think anyone will miss these guys.
Yeah. I think Axicat is going to look to Magnus. He can deal with that. And
Oh
she
dear! Oh dear! Oh god!
is going to cast.
Help protect me!
Please say it's destructive wave because I really want to see this supercharged.
Well, that was the idea. Unfortunately,
Oh,
everyone
sad.
either died or moved away from that area of effect. So no.
You know what? I know this is a one shot, and I know it says 30 foot, but I really wanted to see it, and I was really excited when you chose that ability.
Fine.
I want you to
Fine.
showcase what this thing does. So let's say it's a 40 foot.
Nice.
Okay.
Sorry, what is this? What is this ability?
Oh, you'll see.
Okay,
You'll
see.
see. You'll
Okay,
see.
so I am going to cast Destructive Wave, 5th level, and I would like to use. I have 10 mana points, don't I?
So you can use a max of 5.
Let's use a max of 5.
Okay, so yeah, it'll be an extra 5d6. So, Axcast, what does the destructive wave look like? It says you strike the ground, but with what?
So she's actually going to strike the ground. Do I need to use something?
No. I mean, it could be a foot, a hand, a tail.
No, she's going to flick her tail, and as it hits the ground, you see a spark of embers start bursting from the ground, and then build and build and build until it smacks into the Lost and the War Wizard.
Okay, cool. Holy moly. Right, so yeah, Helenus and Robert, there's like the ground underneath you shakes as Axcast just whip slaps the ground with her barbed tail, and
This is a 5th level paladin spell, isn't it?
could
it
be
is.
quite possibly.
Yeah.
So
Also, as an extra thing, after the first wave, the lane lines also light up, and the
yes.
second wave goes towards them.
So
Sorry,
the
2
wizard,
waves?
the wizard fails, and the Lost fails.
Fails.
Yes.
Very nice. So damage time.
So it's 5d6 thunder, but I assume 5d6 radiant.
So that's 13 thunder, 24 radiant, and I said 5.
Yeah, so that's
That's 5d8, d6,
5d6.
and 18 extra damage.
Okay.
Hiram!
So
Axicast.
Axicast, yes.
yeah, Axas, you explode with energy. The kind of the concussive force strikes up from the ground. Light pierces the cobblestones. It catches both of them for 37, 55 damage each.
No kill like overkill, right, my love?
The Lost is obliterated by the light, and this war wizard, this kind of mask-wearing war wizard, is rocked to her core. Takes 55 damage, and
Is there a concentration save for that one? I mean, that's so much.
and she's blown off her feet, collapses to the ground. There's if there was a creature that she was channeling a presence for, it's gone. Yeah, 55 damage. That was tasty. Anything else, Axicas?
She's going to look at Magnus and say, "See, easy."
Magnus is in a pile of boxes on his back.
Yeah, realistically,
Is it gone?
yeah, that pile of boxes you were on has just crumpled round her. Okay, so Helenus.
Yeah, she's probably staring like slack-jawed at Axcast. My love, next time I think about arguing with you, remind me you can do that. And then she'll kind of pull herself together, I suppose, and shoot an arrow at... Well, I don't want to shoot her because she's prone, so I'll try and help Aaron out.
Yeah, sounds good. That's a hit.
Cool.
Nice.
26 is a hit
Okay.
for 18
then-
damage.
Another 2d8 radiant. So, yeah.
28 damage. So Aaron, you've just bam, sword down from the heavens. And as you kind of pull the spear free, and you've taken a swing at the battle mage, and he's kind of taken a step back to avoid your blow. And as he steps back, you hear, and this beam of light strikes him in the side of the head, and you see fabric tear on the other side as this light comes out the other side, and the figure just collapses back, crumples to the floor, and as he hits the ground, the what looks like a black iron skull mask vanishes away.
So,
Dead.
Flat.
Cool.
Clear.
Anything else, Helenus?
I think probably just she'll start reloading her bow grimly and walking towards the prone figure.
Sure. Okay. In which case, this figure on the floor takes a look at you, picks herself up, and then goes to run. Magnus, what do you do?
There will be 2 meteors that rush, follow her, and make it go away! Go away! I'm not casting spell. Sorry, DC 16, Dexterity saving throw, please.
DC 16 dex save is a fail.
15 points.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't end it, I'll throw.
So there's a whomp, and this woman just kind of staggers. Like she looks like her legs aren't really working anymore. Wrap us out, Magnus.
Do I need a firebolt?
Quite possibly.
Okay, let's go. Normal.
That's it.
5.
That is exactly what you needed. So this one bolt strikes her in the shoulder. She rocks forward. The second bolt hits her in the side. She staggers to the side. She turns to look to you, and you can see this mask is kind of shimmering in and out of kind of existence. And like blood coming from her mouth, a couple of teeth missing from that concussive blast a few moments ago. And as she shouts out, "You're too late! Implacable's already!" And then this firebolt hits her square in the face. And she her face is replaced with a smoking crater as she falls back herself and dead.
Magnus, from within his box full of splinters, will go, "Never do that again."
Okay.
Magnus, I mean, you're a bit old to be playing with Bok forts. That's more for my daughter.
Okay, so as Magnus, as you kind of pull yourself out of these boxes, and you all reconvene, Robert looks at you all and, "Is everybody all right?" he says.
I'm perfectly fine. Yes.
He kind of nods, and in which case we should hurry on, he says. We need to get away from here. He looks at you, Axcast. That was a lot of noise. And like around you, there's this 80-foot diameter circle around the fountain, and the cobblestones are just cracked. Some of them just popped up from the stonework.
She's gonna shrug a bit, like it needed redoing anyway.
In which case, as you dust yourselves off and you carry on towards the rendezvous point with your allies, let's grab a 10-minute break.
Cool.
Sweet.
See you in a
Get to
bit.
meeting.
Hey there, Slate here. Why don't you do us all here at Warhounds Limited a little favour and just hit that subscribe button over there?
What do you mean subscribe?
You haven't subscribed already? It's kind of like a little conjuring tool that helps to top up your ale coffers.
I like that. Yes, subscribe.
Can you not just subscribe already?
Welcome back, everybody. That was an explosive fight. I'm glad we got that out of our systems. So, yeah, we will rejoin our hapless foursome as they traipse their way through Suzail. So after kind of encountering these cheeky kind of mask-wearing war wizards, and you're not particularly sure kind of what their deal is, or they did shout out something peculiar before she died, something about implacable, but yeah, you're not 100% sure what that's all about.
Nah.
You make your way further north towards as you're heading towards the northern wall, where you'll find the War Wizard College. You stop off somewhere nearby. Go on, Anton.
I've still got 2 meteors floating around.
Jeez. Are you keeping them or are you dispelling them?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, yeah, you successfully kind of make your way further up the city, kind of through the noble district, sneaking through gardens and grounds, private grounds. You make your way to sort of like another kind of secluded back alley. There's an alley that kind of runs between what appears to be like a small temple, shrine of some sort, and a number of kind of smaller, more compact abodes. And Robert kind of stops ahead of you and turns around to look, because there's decidedly no one here. And he frowns and looks to you, Magnus. I told them to be here prompt. I don't understand what it is that might be holding them up. And you can see he's starting to worry, because the longer you stay in one place, potentially the more likely you are to be discovered.
Right. Don't worry, Robert. They'll come, I'm sure.
I mean, it's been a day for betrayals, so why not another one, eh?
Robert kind of furrows his brow and I hope not. And as you're discussing this, you hear some sort of like bickering coming from the alleyway ahead of you. And like the voices are kind of hushed, but you can tell that they're clearly kind of agitated with each other. And the voices get louder and louder, and as you kind of look to one another and prepare yourselves, from around the corner come 5 figures. And when they see you, they stop, and the tall female Goliath smiles to you and, "Greetings. Well, I apologize for our lateness," she says. And Magnus, you look upon some of the faces of the war dogs. In front of you is a stone, a Goliath woman, Malka, a dwarven woman, Mirren, a half-drow bard called Midnight Raven, a small but tough halfling brawler called Bodger, and this mysterious entity known only as Tabula. "We apologize for our tardiness," the Goliath concludes.
That's all right. Thank you very much for coming.
She nods. Bodger steps forward, kind of cricks his neck, and, "I understand that you want us to cause all hell in the War Wizards College. Is that right?"
That's about right. Yes, we need a distraction of sorts.
All
so
right.
if you could stir up some trouble,
Magnus is being far too, blasé about this. We need you to kick up hell. Utter hell.
The little halfling pugilist kind of smirks, like the corner of his mouth. It looks nigh on malevolent when he kind of grins. And the half drow bar kind of flicks his fringe from his eyes and, "Oh, well, I wouldn't worry about that. Whilst we are usually proficient in the arts of delicacy and tact and pomp, we've recently had to make a few changes to our composition." The hooded figure nods slowly.
"We recently left Marsemba, where we lost one of our number. It was a harrowing thing to watch, There was nothing left of poor Mungo once the rats had finished with him. But we learned of another potential recruit, powerful enough to replace Mungo.
Malka nods, and we were late because we had to encourage them to come here of their own accord, and I can assure you it was a difficult thing to convince.
I'm sorry for your loss.
From behind them, you can hear you can hear sort of like tutting and kind of hooping and spitting noises, and the war dogs part, and from round the corner, shaking what appears to be urine from the inside of her leg, comes a small, bedraggled little goblin, wearing what appears to be an animal's skull for a hat with a number of feathers hanging from it. Piercing yellow and pink eyes, and a somewhat confused look upon her face. And as Jik the Goblin waddles to the front and looks up to you, Magnus.
Listen, I'm afraid we're sorely mistaken. I've made a mistake. We're gonna have to hire another crew.
This is Jik, says Gamalka.
We've made a grave error.
No, Magnus.
Come on, Robert, let's go. We need to rush. Quick.
Aaron puts his hand on your shoulder. Magnus, this is perfect. Just give me a moment. And Aaron kneels down in front of Bodger and is like, Bodger.
Bodger doesn't lean in. Jik does.
I think I might have misspoken. You know when I said that I want you to raise hell? I want you to make hell look like a very pleasant place to be. In fact, no, more to the point, I'd like you to make hell look like the kind of place where I'd want to go on holiday with my daughter, my infant daughter. That's how much I want you to...
Sorry, time out. Carl.
Yes.
He had to give away his daughter.
I know.
Just a gentle reminder, I probably would not be joking about it.
I mean, he can either joke about it or he can break down in despair and cry.
I mean, either's good at this point, right?
Yes.
Given your present company.
Exactly. So yes, I'd like you to make it a holiday resort that I could probably go to with my infant daughter. That is how much hell I need you to raise. I need you to make pit fiends look like reasonable people. Can you do this, Bodger?
Bodger looks to you, like crosses his arms, raises an eyebrow, sniffs, and like one of his nostrils inflates as he takes a big old sniff of air. And then just off to your side, you hear,
Yes, Jik will do this.
Aaron stands up, bats Magnus on the chest, is like, see? They're the perfect lot.
Oh dear.
And Jik looks to you, blinks a few times, like peers at you intently, Magnus, and then...
Jik remembers this one. Hello, you have met Jik before, yes?
I don't know what you're talking about.
And she runs up to you and she hugs your leg.
Magnus freezes.
And she looks up and
Jik is happy that you left Warhounds. Because if you had not left Warhounds, then Jik would not be able to fill a spot in Warhound roster.
And she detaches from your leg and stands in front of the war dogs.
Jik is newest member of Warhounds.
I'm not sure about that.
Jik nods.
Look how happy she is, Magnus. Of course she is. She can be whatever she wants to be.
Like, Jik is nodding emphatically, and the others the war dogs just kind of look a bit confused.
Warhounds have been such a big influence on Jik's life that Jik thought it would only be good to join Warhounds, yes?
You've joined the war dogs.
Warhounds, yes. Warhounds.
Doggies.
Hounds. Woofers.
This debate goes on for 10 minutes.
Malka just looks down and... You can't help but feel some degree of pity. She's this small,
peculiar little creature that doesn't quite understand her powers and is almost scared of them, if anything. I can't think of anyone else in this world in a similar situation in an adventuring group like this.
Magnus looks up to see if the meteors are still up there.
They are. They are. But yeah, Malka concludes, I think the Jig here will be a fantastic addition to the War Dogs.
Hounds.
Dogs.
Hounds.
Right, Robert, show us this passageway. Let's go.
Okay, so Robert just takes a look around, casts prestidigitation because there's a bit of an aroma coming off Jig. And the 6. So the 11 of you begin making your way kind of round the corner, and in front of you is the imposing silhouette of the War Wizard College. As you go, Jig's kind of like holding onto your cloak, Magnus, and like tugs it every so often.
Jig is excited to go on all adventures with Warhounds.
Magnus has a mage hand.
You must tell me all the things you did with Warhounds so Jig can imitate it. Imitation is best form of flattery, yes?
That's what they say.
Jig is the clever words.
Aaron slinks back to Axicas and Helenus like, it does look like Magnus has an admirer, doesn't he?
Yeah. Magnus just looks up at the meteors every once in a while.
Whenever you do, you can feel Axicas' tail lightly tap your calf. No.
It's my thing.
So, Diversion Division. When you get in to the War Wizards College, what are you aiming to do?
We're gonna head to the polymorph machine, Dan.
I see.
The
Run
War Wizards have
by
been studying on. Yeah.
run by Gimbal, I imagine.
It's run by Gimbal.
Oh,
it's the polymorph
God,
machine run by Gimbal. That's right. He was put in charge of the project.
So, right. As you make your... Yes, go on.
Actually, I think what Axicas will try to do first is find some robes so they can blend in.
Okay. So, because this plan was meticulously put together,
Oh yeah.
the dwarven woman from the War Dogs, Mirren, she reaches into a bag. She's noticeably very silent. She reaches into a bag and hands out a number of purple dragon, War Wizard robes. So you can, obviously, Robert doesn't need one, but you're able to disguise yourselves if so.
Are these tailored or not tailored? I gave you my sizes.
The dwarf looks to you, and she blinks slowly, clears her throat, and then hands the next person their robe.
Right. Well, this will have to do.
So, as you you kind of head through this it's this small kind of almost like garden area at the back. There's a couple of benches, like stone benches. There's a few kind of decorative white painted arches with kind of ivy and other plants kind of growing up and weaving through it. It's sort of like lunchtime, so the sun's kind of almost directly overhead, and it creates this very kind of idyllic little scene. It's not too hot, it's not too cool. There's a nice breeze. Like this far away from the sea, you can't really smell the smell of the sea, or the docks and whatnot. It's just nice and idyllic. And you see kind of Robert up against the wall of the college, and you see him kind of studying the brickwork, and he's just kind of looking around. And he turns and says, give me a few moments, and I'll remember where. I remember where it is, he says as he looks around. So the four of you, Magnus included, find yourselves kind of stood off against the 6 Warhounds. And it's Bodger that kind of looks you up and down, Magnuson. So what have you been up to, nerd?
I've been spending time with the ex-queen. What about yourself?
Oh, you know, not spending time with the ex-queen. Spent some time with Marsemba. It's impressive.
Spend time with yourself. Yes.
Yeah. Well, bumped
Is
into.
spending time a euphemism that I have not heard of?
Spending time.
Helen is there. Is that what the younglings are calling it these days?
I think it must be, dear. Yeah.
I mean, Axicus, remember, spending time with the Queen is all for a euphemism.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sure they were just discussing military strategy, dear.
Oh yes, they were. They're very interested in their strategy.
Cormyrian military intelligence.
Look how red he's going already. Just like he can't even keep the lie up.
We needed to do reconnaissance of the terrain and put in place a strategy to assimilate. Listen, it's very complicated.
So late at night, Magnus.
Oh, to be young and innocent.
And yes, terrain. It's I like that terrain. I might use that one. Studying terrain.
That's what I did. Yes.
That's definitely what they're calling it.
So as you
Imagine Aaron fist bumps both Axicus and Helena.
So yeah, as you make Magnus go decided shade of claret.
We can use him as a lantern.
There's a bing, like a single resonant note, and with a swish of the hair. Interestingly, says Midnight Raven, when we were exploring the mysteries and wonder and beauty of Marsemba, we happened upon our lesser equals, the Warhounds. They were scurrying around like confused chickens. It was beautiful to watch, actually.
Midnight Raven, was it?
Yes.
Who are your lesser equals?
The
Just so I have this right.
Midnight goes to say say the answer, and as he says the war, and like as he starts to form the hounds, he gets a look from everyone else in the war dogs.
Yeah.
And
he gets mage slapped, by the way.
He gets mage slapped. He notices all the war dogs looking at him, and like Jick is like beaming up at him from the floor. And you hear him, war dogs. The war pups. The war pups?
Thought that's what you meant to say, because anything else would have been extremely inappropriate.
Yes. The war pups consisting of Fladger and...
You don't. No.
Mumbo and and then he just stops. But they last we saw they were heading out to sea on a stolen ship. It's the thing of romantic poetry at its finest.
I would stop if I were you, Midnight Raven.
And he, bling, you're right. Too much of a good thing is still too much.
So we are using him as bait? No?
I'm beginning to believe that might be a great idea.
At that point, you hear the sound of stone like moving, and you hear Robert, I found it!
Oh, thank God.
And you see that one of the bricks is depressed into the side of the college. And there's a low grumbling, like you can see the wall shaking slightly, and then like nothing particularly happens. And like everyone just kind of looks at each other a little bit curiously. The war dogs look to Robert, and Malka pipes up saying, were we expecting something to happen, Mr. Devasco? And Robert sighs and sort of like kicks the wall, and as he does, like a segment of the wall slides out on kind of old, unused hinges. And yeah, you find yourselves sneaking into one of the dormitory corridors of the War Wizards College.
Sweet.
So all of you kind of squeeze in. Malka has to duck ahead to fit in through this secret door. You find yourselves, say, in the corridors. So these kind of long, winding corridors have a number of kind of doors to various dormitories. Magnus is kind of brings you back memories of your freshman recruit years,
Yes.
like living on campus, and like as you begin moving your way through to the area that you presume, the area where you last knew of the polymorph machine. As you round a corner, however, you round a corner and there's a small cough from another corridor, like another turning on the junction. And as you all turn to look, you are faced with the disapproving face of the Mage Royal,
Oh, sorry, what?
Ganrahast.
Ganrahast. So is he looking at us?
So he's stood. So like, basically, you've just come up to a junction and turned left, and there's been a cough behind you, and so like off the right turning is the Mage Royal, who just looks at you with this kind of look of disapproval, mixed with. I mean, it almost looks like it's mixed with impressiveness. Like he looks somewhat impressed with you. You know, he starts. I didn't think anyone actually knew of that entrance to the colleges. I commend you, Mr. Devasco, Mr. Cobblesome.
Robert, I think this might be an illusion. It's just I don't think it's really the Mage Royal. What do you think?
You notice that Robert is sweating bullets. What do...
If you do it literally, can we use bullets to get the Mage Royal?
Helenus, what do you make of this? This is, the leader of the War Wizards, and he's caught you snooping in the corridors.
And Helenus would know who it is, would she?
Yeah, absolutely. This guy's like borderline celebrity.
Okay.
I say celebrity, I mean, he's literally the Mage Royal, so...
I don't really know that she would definitely be looking to Devasco and Magnus for leadership on. This isn't her crowd, really.
Sure.
Can Magnus cast Mage Hand and just make the hand go forward, pointy, and just poke him?
As this Mage Hand floats towards him with surprisingly quick cat-like reflexes, Ganrahast smacks the Mage Hand out of the way with his staff. It's this white wood, it's sort of staff that looks like this kind of petrified wood, white wood with a deep kind of indigo orb at its head.
Robert, not an illusion, it seems.
No. The man in front of you who looks... So, to describe the man, he looks... It would almost seem that the word Weasley would have a picture of this man in the Faerunian dictionary. He has a goatee, almost kind of greasy red hair, which is streaking almost kind of blondie, literally strawberry blonde as he's kind of going white in places. Yes.
As we haven't been burnt to cinders, I'm assuming you're not that angry at seeing us, Mage Royal?
The Mage Royal raises an eyebrow and Ganrahast says, as I said, I'm somewhat impressed that you knew of this passageway. I wouldn't say I'm angry, no. I'm more disappointed. If you would please follow me, I believe you have some questions to ask. And he looks to the 11 of you. All of you.
Helenus?
Yeah?
Remind me to use that whole "I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed" if I ever sort of, ever get with my, get my daughter back. That's a very good one. I felt actually I felt like a personal attack.
Gamrahast's eyes fall on Axikas, who looks deep in contemplation.
I want to do something really stupid, guys.
Yeah.
One shot in it. Yeah.
These aren't our mains.
I'm just putting it out there. If you want to go with him and have some answers, let me know now.
You can try what you want to try. Doesn't mean you'll succeed, but yes.
Also true.
Yeah.
He's probably like a level 20 spellcaster.
Oh, I'm not thinking about casting a spell.
Then in that case, maybe.
Yeah. So Axikas is going to look at all of you and just it kind of tries to with her tails point at all of you, and then start pointing in a direction where she wants you to run.
Okay.
And then she's just going to turn to the main royal and say like, I feel like we need to decline. Excuse me. And she's going to pick up Jig and throw her at the mage royal.
Okay. Okay, so you throw as you kind of look to everyone, the 11 of you, and you kind of that way, kind of insinuate you want everyone to go that way.
Yes, and by the way, as she picks up Jig and throws her, because she's a bit uncomfortable, she's a bit apprehensive about this. Mm-hmm. There are a couple of sparks just, appear around her.
Oh, you are pushing that.
I am.
So, everyone has been kind of eyeing each other, except for Jig, who's just been grinning in delight because she's going on an adventure for the first time. And as you shout go, and you grab this little goblin, and she by the ears, and you yeet her at the most powerful spellcaster in Cormyr. Jig and sparks fly out, and you see one spark brush the tip of her nose. And you watch as Jig's eyes scrunch, and she pulls her face into this grotesque I'm about to sneeze face. And in that moment, Ganrahast bangs his staff on the ground, a portal opens in front of Jig, and she through and disappears.
Okay, so can you describe to me the dimension door, exactly how it appears and where it appears?
So the dimension door, it's effectively just it's about a head height, the way you've thrown Jig. It's about 5 foot diameter. It's a big, a Rick and Morty-esque swirling portal, and she just boop. And then it closes behind her, unless you want to do it. Anyone wants to do anything.
As the dimension door appears, using that moment when the spell is cast, I would like to cast fifth level spell. My last 5th level spell, Mislead.
Okay.
Sorry,
So, as Ganrahast opens up this dimension door to swallow up the goblin that's just been thrown, the piss-covered goblin that's just been thrown at him, it blocks his vision. So you then cast Mislead, and you will kind of go invisible. You take that opportunity to presumably leg it, and the screaming from Jig, "Ow!" as she goes through this portal, is enough time that when the portal disappears and Ganrahast is enough theatrics. And so you've already kind of down the corridor
Actually,
you go.
I am staying where I am.
Right.
Everyone else is gone.
The others are running, and Axikas' double is bolting in the other direction.
Okay.
Are we running? I'm not sure we are running.
I think we would have all run, wouldn't
Yeah.
we? Use the yeah.
I imagine Magnus will run the moment Jick has gone like freedom.
All right,
Okay.
we're running.
Right, so you lot run fake, like duplicate Axicas. So basically, all of these illusory doubles of you all have appeared. Then you all scatter. Duplicate.
I think it's just Axicast.
It's just me.
Oh, is it just Axicas?
It's-
Oh,
It's Axicas.
but ley lines. So,
Okay. Ley lines.
ley lines, sure. So yeah, in this moment, Axicas goes bolting off down, like illusionary Axicas goes bolting off down one corridor. The other 9 of you, because Jick's not with you anymore,
You're welcome, Anthem, by the way.
stood smiling. That's giving everyone else a chance to sneak away. You see, like Axicas, if you're stood in amongst the illusionary doubles, you see Gamrahas kind of roll his eyes, and he bangs his staff on the floor again, and like a wall of force comes up and blocks the corridor that illusionary Axicas is running down. And illusionary Axicas just phases right through it because she's an illusion. And at that moment, Gamrahas turns and looks at these illusionary doubles, realizes they're illusionary doubles, and like curses.
Do they all have like ditto eyes?
They've all got just little pinpoint eyes, and that's the point where he realizes I've been duped. He like scowls, and you see him sort of like bring his staff up, kind of swings it around his head, and then he teleports himself somewhere else in the building.
All right. What now then? We're just running.
So Axicas, you can see that you can hear like footsteps, invisible footsteps running off into the distance. And you lot, like Magnus, Robert, like you're kind of realizing what's happened. But as you're kind of going through, you realize that because kind of Gamrahas has cut you off, you'll have to cross the main hall to get to where you need to go.
So this is a new one for the bucket list. Piss off the Mage Royal.
All part of the plan.
All part of the plan. As you're kind of hooning through these corridors, going upstairs, downstairs, turning left, turning right. Like, it's an absolute maze in here, and it's all difficult because the walls are all kind of a light grey, almost white, kind of marble. The rugs and carpets underfoot are all kind of war wizard purple. None of you can notice that Axicas is not with you. And it's difficult to run through these corridors because you're bumping into one another because there's 9 people running through a same corridor whilst invisible. But Axicas, what are you doing? Are you kind of following after them or going a different way?
I'm just following the noise.
Okay, cool. You follow the noise. You all begin to hear commotion as like war wizards start kind of poking their heads out of doors, and Magnus, Robert, Axicas, you suspect that kind of mass sendings are now going out to alert that there's some intruders within the building. As you you kind of make it out into the main hall, which is kind of not where you want to be, but at least you're all invisible, right? And as you emerge into the main hall, there are 20 plus war wizards who've congregated, and they're kind of looking around, and there's talking, there's hubbub, there's confusion, and yeah, it's clear that they think they know that something's up. Let's do this. They know that something's up, and then in amongst them all, through a teleportation, Gamrahas steps through a portal, and he looks to the gathered war wizards, and "Where are the rest of them?" he shouts, and you see some of the wizards kind of. And like as you find yourself stood at one end of the hall, and you need to get to the stairs at the back to carry on to Gimble's polymorph machine.
Oh dear, we need to distract them.
I think Hellenis had an idea that she could try, potentially.
Yeah.
So they're quite sort of thickly. They're in little crowds, are they? They're quite sort of thickly gathered.
Yeah. Yeah. So you notice that there's sort of like groups of recruits paired up with paired up with just battle mages. Worryingly for you, Magnus, Axcas, Robert, you can see that there's a number of Allophons spread out through the crowds, and also you see a number of them are like, you can see a small number of Inquisitors, but they seem to be almost kind of off on their own, like off in their own group. They don't seem to be integrated.
So I think Calanus would pick the biggest, the densest concentration of war wizards she can, and very quietly under her breath. It does have a verbal component, but yeah, whisper and cast confusion.
Okay.
And hopefully draw some attention away from the stairs so that we can sneak past.
Okay. So, Helenus, you've very rarely experienced being invisible, but under your breath, quietly, and like you feel the magic surge within you, and you let rip with this wave of confusion that ripples through the room, as it kind of emanates from you and kind of bounces between the minds of the gathered war wizards. You watch as your form begins to become solid again, and as you become solid, and some of the war wizards kind of look up to you and like kind of point, because this woman's just materialized in the Great Hall. You notice that your spell has started to pick up on some of the wizards in the room, primarily the recruits. And the recruits just kind of start, like, they all go a bit slack-jawed, their eyes kind of glaze over a little bit, and like, as some of the wizards kind of surge forward to kind of grab you, like, these recruits just start like running it, like breaking into sprints, kind of running into each other and hugging some of the wizards, and you watch one recruit just kind of cross the hall, leap, and then just wha-bam! Just punch one of the wizards, like one of the Allophons, across the cheek, and like bedlam explodes through the room as the recruits just are susceptible, fail their confusion checks. But Helenus, you realise you're now visible. Everyone else, you can all see Helenus, and like all the war wizards can see her as well.
I have something really, really stupid to do as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, God, this is so stupid. Aaron's gonna look at the Mage Royal.
Yeah.
Find the nearest pillar.
Yeah.
Sit down. Put his feet against the pillar. Lie on his back and be like, "Oh, this is dumb." And as he pushes off from the pillar, triggers his ring.
And you hope you just knock out all their feet.
And just thing out and basically spear out and just go straight for the Mage Royal as a somewhat projectile.
Right.
Aaron Fox has been to too many frat parties.
Why?
This is why he's the captain of the first, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Out the box thinking.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it gives me leg power, so if I lie on my side and catapult off a wall, that's some leg power and a half in a vertical, horizontal leap. Sorry.
I know you're aiming for the.
I'm invisible, so you won't see it coming.
So you won't see it coming. Right, as you...
Oh my god, I'm going to Smash Brothers him, aren't I? I'm just going to hit him big, like, whooing!
Okay, Carl, I know you're aiming for him only, but imagine if you can kind of move yourself in a way that you get everyone. You're basically doing like a dragoon bowling.
If I get anyone who's running across like the aisle as well, because now everyone's fighting with each other, so it's just... I'm going to be a goddamn lawnmower.
Right,
oh my god.
okay.
Dan, please tell me that you are going to make like an illustration for this.
So, Helenus, as you wonder what's happening, you hear just off to the side.
This is a really dumb idea.
This is a really dumb idea. And then you, with your acute archer eyes, you kind of look down and then you see, 2 footprints on the side of this pillar. And as you kind of, wonder what's about to happen, you hear what can only be described as a as Aaron launches himself from a vertical pillar horizontally across the floor. Gamrahast looks up at the last moment, and you watch as the Mage Royal is caught by someone that you Aaron. Normally you dropped with the spear, so the spear's not overly accurate. But what you do manage to do is catch Gamrahast with your shoulder. So it's effectively the world's most violent rugby tackle. You catch the Mage Royal, he doubles in half over your shoulder, and the two of you careen. Which did you do? What, high jump or normal jump? Whatever. So you both land on the floor. There's a as you skid across the polished marble floors. The rug gets pulled up under your and Gamrahast's forms as you hurtle to the other side of the hall, and there's a big crash as you slam in. You then become solid as well.
Can I sort of say, if I use my abilities, I have the ability to then land a position next to them. So I imagine he then springs to his feet as he starts appearing, this was
this was a terrible idea.
Can I just say also, I think this is exactly when Axikas does catch up to you all, and she just stands there looking at this. This is also now invisible, and I made you invisible. Did you not enjoy that?
So, Axax, you hear what I can only describe as skittle noises as Aaron smacks into Gamrahast. Right, this has all happened. Magnus, what are you doing?
I'm going towards the polymorph machine, which
so Magnus,
must be hidden somewhere here.
You make a valiant dash for the back of the room. Unfortunately, as you go... I say unfortunately, you just make a valiant dash for the back of the room. And
Sweet.
Who's left? Axikas, what are you doing?
Not sure, to be perfectly honest with you. Am I still invisible?
You're still invisible, yes.
Right. You said there's a machine at the end.
You have to go to the back of the hall, and then it's on the other side. There is a people keep talking about this polymorph machine. You're not really sure what this polymorph machine is or what it does, but everyone keeps talking about it, so you assume that it's a thing.
Yes.
Oh wait. Actually, they were the diversion division was there when the wombat turned up, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Do I know what noise a wombat makes?
Give me a nature check.
Okay.
Let me put you on the map, and then you can make a nature check.
You sound like an Australian surfer.
Oh my god! Guess what? I have a +9 to nature.
You
Can I roll with advantage because I literally just met with a goddamn wombat?
Yeah.
So the 28.
Right. Actually, you know what? Because you lot are running me through the ringer. Axikas, I want you to demonstrate what noise a wombat makes.
What? What?
Right
Hold
now.
on. I don't know. I'm not from Australia.
Doesn't have to be accurate. Just has to be a noise that they make.
I'm gonna do this. If I'm doing this, I'm doing this right.
Because you never know. Cormyrian wombats, awakened Cormyrian wombats can make whatever sound they like. Arguably. What is the common springtime mating call?
Do you want to go skateboarding?
I can't make that noise. What the fuck?
You can, Tilda. Believe in yourself.
Believe.
I literally can't hear shit all.
I think they just chitter, don't they?
They just chitter, yeah.
You want my last bardic inspiration die as you try and make this noise?
Apparently they just
Okay, so I think just to really get the point across, I mean, I don't know if you've got it. I mean, I'm just gonna, because she's an NPC, right? So I'm gonna take slight control. It's not on your spell list, but I can imagine that maybe she knows it.
Or no, actually, what was on my, what should be on my spell list, if someone remembered, to add it to my cantrips, is thaumaturgy. So what I can do is go thaumaturgy and.
Okay, so
Deafeningly loud one, that.
So as you run into the room, and then with this booming, sonorous voice, you
No,
let rip.
Dan.
Oh, right.
No, Dan.
No.
I run into a room. I move away from the door, make sure there's no one there, and I want the sound to come from the other side of the door.
Right. Okay. So you make So you make this noise. It sounds like there's a dire wombat like on the other side of this wall, but like because of the construction of the room, like there's only kind of a couple of hanging tapestries and the like, but otherwise this is a beautifully acoustic room, right? So it just echoes and reverberates, and like you see some of the war wizards looking up, what? Because this noise has just come out of nowhere. You appear in, like, materialize.
They probably go what, and they get punched by another war wizard.
What? Yeah, because the recruits are still kind of playing patty cake with one another, and like you can hear Gambash go, get off me! Like Aaron's on top of him at the back, and there's just Magnus like hooning it down the middle of the hall. And then as this all happens, Axcas, you feel a surge of magic and energy. And above you all, like in the space just below the ceiling, this swirling dimension door opens up, and through comes Jik. And you would have thought that it happened instantaneously, but maybe Archmage is doing it a bit different. And as she comes through, she hears the battle cry of a dire wombat. She immediately suffers flashbacks from her times where she was chased by wombats through the forests of the King's Forests. And like as the image fills her head, and her face is still contorted, and she and sneezes.
Oh dear.
And as her nostrils flare and like gold phlegm flies out of her nostrils, there's a deafening boom. Right, you're all blown backwards. Aaron, Gamrahas, you're knocked to the side. Magnus, you are caught by the explosion, kind of flung to the bottom of the stairs, and you. As you kind of open your eyes and sort of like, Gamrahas makes some noises under you, Aaron, as you turn to look.
Oh, God. What?
Every single wizard in the Grand Hall has turned into a wombat.
Oh, God.
A Cormyrian wombat. And Jik hits the carpet, rolls a couple of times, stands up, looks around, realizes she's in a room with like 24 odd wombats. She screams and runs out the front door, arms waving as she goes.
Tell me the rest of the war dogs are also wombats.
You hear some squeaks invisibly from behind you, and it seems that you five, Gambrahas included, are the only ones who haven't been caught in Jik's sneeze explosion. And some of the wombats still look a bit doozy, so they're still just kind of like clawing at one another and like rolling around. You can see some of the wombats trying to gain some sense of order. But here's the thing about polymorph: you also inherit the mental stats of a wombat, and these don't look to be the awakened wombats that you found up in Half Apple throughout Cormyr. These are just wombats. So suddenly there are 24 marsupials all just kind of rolling over one another, and they all start to panic and break, and you hear screams of panic throughout the college as these As these
Are
wombats just
they
kinda
still
run into the-
confused wombats?
Most of them are still confused wombats. Yes.
Okay.
So you see one wombat that's literally just running in a circle, round and round and round and round. One's noticed that the rug in the middle of the floor isn't attached and is trying to burrow under it. Succeeds and just stays still. There's a wombat-sized lump under the rug that divides the hall into. And as the four of you pick yourselves up and you hear the carnage throughout the college.
Well, that's something you don't see every day.
You hear like commotion from the front doors, and like the purple dragons who are stationed to the War Wizard College, they're poking their heads in, and like a tide of wombats comes rushing out of them, and you hear them go, oh, as these wombats kind of run out into the streets, and like purple dragons start running in, like they've just seen a goblin, like scream past them into the streets. Yeah. I would argue you've successfully created a diversion.
Oh.
So what would you like to do now?
Jerk is gone, by the way.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Hang on.
I can just imagine, like, the four of us, if it's a film, the four of us stand up, and you even got the War Wizard standing up, the Rage Royal standing up next to us, and just all of us mouthing at the same time.
What?
Okay. So, as all of this carnage and bedlam unfolds around you, what do you do?
Find the polymorph machine.
Maybe we
need
take
the
the
polymorph machine now.
Let's take the Mage
Create
Royal
more
with us.
wombats.
Let's handcuff him, gag him, so he can't do any spells, and then put him in the polymorph machine.
So, what? Just an aside. So the four of you have noticed that like guards and whatnot are starting to flood in, and they're just confused because the room's filled with screaming, confused wombats.
Probably.
Aaron, you kind of like Gamma has kind of pulled himself away from you slightly, and he looks to you. So looking at the carnage, he looks you in the eye and says, "Very good," he says. But like, as you kind of like, as you're in close proximity, he reaches out, grabs his staff, bangs it on the floor, and casts a spell. And the next moment, he's gone. Magnus, Axicas, you kind of have this shot of pain through the head, and you realize that something odd has just happened. You realize that perhaps time was stopped for a moment. But Aaron, yeah, it's like you just gotta, and it's almost as if the Mage Royal has just vanished from under your arms.
Okay.
So, are you making good your escape, or?
Yes.
Yeah. I think Hermes would take Axcast's hand and then look to the others and... Time to leave, maybe?
This was fun, my dear. We should do this more often.
Sure.
Yes, we don't get out enough.
So, as the purple dragons flood in, and you hear, like, they run in expecting something disastrous, and then they just find wombats. And like as their charge slows and falters, and they just kind of stand there going, "What?" Like looking at these wombats, they see you, and like as you kind of edge your way out, you can still hear the cheeping from 5 invisible wombats where you were stood. As the war dogs just kind of do their things, not realizing they're invincible, and the purple dragons are so bewildered that you're able to just slip past them back onto the streets. You can almost track the progress of the wombats that made it out through the sounds of surprise that seem to echo up from the streets nearby. And as you slink away back into the streets of Suzail, you will call it there.
Well, I think that went rather to plan, don't you?
I mean,
I am never working with you again. That's...
So, elsewhere on the Dragonmere, the sounds of creaking wood permeate the air. The smell of sea salt fills the nostrils. The sounds of gagged protests ring out from a number of individuals as Aidan Elburst walks along the galley, looking at all of the fresh captives from the latest gathering attempts. He stops at the feet of a blindfolded and gagged little halfling woman with traveling clothes, and he pulls his robes up slightly as he kneels down to get closer to her. You said you knew about Balthazar. I want you to tell me more. And although she can't see it, he smiles at her.
Bad.
What a
Bad
meanie.
DM. Bad
Congratulations, everybody, on completing this rather raucous session 31.
DM. Whew, it started off pretty well, and then at the end,
I don't know what you're talking about. I think the last part was the best.
It's a one
Everything
shot.
went according to plan.
Even when we're not playing our characters, our stealth missions still go the same way. It's not the characters, is it? It's us at this point.
It's a one shot. They're meant to end in high chaos.
Exactly.
Was the whole point was that we didn't want to be stealthy, wanted them to follow us and not
Yeah.
the Warhounds.
That's true.
So
100% success.
job well done. Yeah, job very well
Yeah.
done. So
We've made royal bowling. God,
So-
so fucking
Hold on.
stupid.
next week we will rejoin the Warhounds as we look to see if this small and delicate diversion has helped them in their mission. And yeah, kind of see where we go from there. So for this, rather bizarre one shot, I would like to thank you for watching, and I'd like to thank you for playing. And I guess with that, take care and see you next time.
Next time.
Bye.
Bye, 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 bye. As the College of War Wizardry in the heart of Suzail descends into wombat-shaped chaos, Magnus can only hope that this will draw enough attention away from the Warhounds to allow them to achieve their mission. Make sure to catch the next episode to see how well it worked. Thanks for watching or listening to the end of the episode. This was a little experiment into some third-party content out in the world, this specifically using new classes and features from Silent Soren's Final Fantasy XIV D&D crossover. You can catch a project over on Reddit and GM Binder. I'll link it down below. If you like this episode, make sure to let us know by hitting the like button and leaving a comment. And if you want to catch another adventure of the Warhounds, War Dogs, or even Jick, you can catch another episode here. It's a massive help to us if you subscribe to the channel here, as well as clicking the bell icon for notifications. So, with that all said, thank you once again, and as always, may the realms endure.